Hey, and welcome to my channel. I am Esther, and before we even get started, you need to know that you are absolutely gorgeous just the way you are. Today I'm going to be talking about facial grooming. I feel like there's a lot of information out there about facial grooming for men, so I'm going to be specifically gearing this towards women, but anybody who grooms their face I think can benefit from this. So whether you are taking care of a couple of blemishes and trimming your eyebrows, or you are shaving your full face every day, I just want to share some tips and information to help you, and I am actually going to be showing you several of the things that I'm talking about on my own face today. So before we get started, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a single video, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that I can reach as many people as possible and share love with them. Let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, regardless of the type of grooming that you're doing, is to wash and exfoliate your face. I just did this in the shower, and if you haven't seen my video on my other channel about skincare where I explained how I exfoliate, I will put that right here as well as a link in the description box below. But I did already wash and exfoliate, and I did put a light layer of moisturizer on my face as well because my skin is so incredibly dry. If you're not as dry, you probably don't need to do that step. But you want to kind of warm up your face and get it ready. So if you have a jade roller, or you just want to use your hands and just kind of rub it, especially if you are dry or you have hair that is kind of coarse on your face, you're going to want to apply like a facial oil that's kind of just going to soften the hairs and prepare them to be extracted, hair, blemishes, all of that. So make sure you really wash, massage, exfoliate your face to kind of prepare it for the grooming. The next thing that I personally like to do is start with a face razor. They look like this, and you can get them in lots of different sizes and colors. I know they have really expensive ones. I order them off Amazon and they are super cheap. These work great for me. I do like the ones that are about half the size as well, but super inexpensive. You can buy them at any drugstore. If you do need to shave a significant part of your face, I definitely recommend getting an actual razor, a nice one, an electric one, whatever you can use on a daily basis and be comfortable with. I know lots of women that have to shave their entire face, their chin, their mustache hairs. So if that is you, if you need to do that or you choose to do that, please make sure that you invest in a high quality razor, like I said, electric or otherwise, that is going to treat your skin well. And absolutely make sure that you apply a serum or an oil to soften those hairs, 15-20 minutes before you do it, because that is really going to minimize the damage that can be done to your skin by shaving on something that's hard and coarse and not prepared for shaving. For me, I don't need to shave my face, and I don't choose to because I don't really want to deal with the upkeep of it, but I do shave certain parts of it. So that's where this razor comes in handy. One of the places that I like to shave is between my eyebrows, so I will just show you how I do that really quick. I just take this razor and run it right between my brows. And you will actually be surprised how much more even your makeup application is when you do shave, especially areas that continue to grow back. The rest of my face and the baby hair that I have on it, I don't shave. I do have a mole here, and I've considered shaving that because I do have a couple little fine hairs that grow outwards, but since they're so light, I've chosen not to, just because I don't want to manage it, like I said before. So I like to take this razor, go right between my brows, and get any hairs that I can without having to pluck. It's very gentle, it doesn't hurt. And then the next thing I do is go under my brow here, just right up to the spot where I want my brow to start. Then I do above and below my brows. Now you can use these face razors all over your face, especially if you have more fine hair. You just want to hold it downwards and actually go with the hair. I go against the hair on my eyebrows because they're not sensitive. I've gotten them waxed and plucked them my whole life, so it doesn't bother me. But if you're shaving fine baby hairs, you're gonna wanna go with the grain of the hair. So next I'm gonna do right above my eyebrows. So I just like to be very careful. You don't wanna shave more than you want to, but I just get all of those fine little hairs that grow above my brows and below my brows and a little bit to the side of my eye here. And I'm just kind of giving myself a base to shape my brows, and then going right under my eyebrows as well, I'm going to pull my eyelid closed because I do not want to catch any of my lashes in there, and make sure that you're kind of pulling your hair out of the way. But this is such an easy way to give yourself a good shape without having to pluck a ton. And you can get as close as you're comfortable to your brows. It does take a little practice to get the precision right, but it's really simple to use. And then I really shave the majority of my eyelid because, like I mentioned before, it drastically impacts how your makeup goes onto your eye. You will notice a very, very big difference. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that as well while we're here. This also works great if you do choose to shave any baby hairs around your face or mustache, really anything that's more delicate. So if you're getting that coarse hair that's growing in on your face and you need to do that, that's not really what this is for. This is more for fine hair, but I just find it a really useful tool, and I feel like it does a great job. It's not painful, it's inexpensive, and it's a great way to start. The next thing I do is to shape my eyebrows a little bit. So here's how I do that. I just take a spoolie, which you can just buy at Target or pretty much anywhere. You can buy them on Amazon as well. And I first comb through them, and I kind of comb them in an upward motion. It has taken me forever to grow my eyebrows out, but I actually started using a homemade serum because they were so sparse, and just applying that, and they really grew in well. So I take the spoolie, comb them upwards, and then I take my trusty little pair of scissors and I'm just going to trim them. So here is how I do it. I really want to make sure you guys can see this. So I take my spoolie and I push the hairs up. Then I go in with the curved part facing down and just trim the eyebrows. Now remember, you can always trim more, so do less than you think you need to at first, because you certainly don't want to over trim, okay? So then I kind of comb through them again and see what else do I need to trim. You can go in freehand like this, but you just really want to make sure that you're putting them wherever you want the top line of your eyebrow to be. The outside hairs I don't trim nearly as much, just a teeny little bit, because I actually like a more full, natural looking brow. So I just do it a little bit, but again, this is personal preference completely. Lots of people really trim a lot, so no right or wrong way. Let's drop the scissors. No right or wrong way to do this. This is just how I do it. So now you can see when I comb these ones up and these, you can tell the difference between them. And this one hasn't been trimmed yet. This one has, and when I comb them all the way up, this side is much more tame and shaped the way that I want it to look. The last thing you want to do is take your trusty tweezers and pull out any extra hairs that you don't want in there. And there you have it. That's how I shape my eyebrows. Next, we're gonna move on to something that probably a lot of women don't even think about, and that is nose hairs. Especially if you are blonde like me, you may not think about needing to trim your nose hairs, but it is one of those weird things that actually makes a big difference when you think about it. So again, I use this scissors. Now this is technically a lash scissors, but it is the most precise and accurate pair and the best quality that I've found. So I use this. I know that they have scissors specifically for trimming nose hairs. I know they have nose hair trimmers. I personally have never used one, and I'm okay with that, but you use whatever tool works best for you. So as far as trimming them, the reason you don't want to pull them out with the tweezers or get them waxed or something is because the hairs in your nose actually act as an environmental barrier, and they prevent a lot of germs from getting into your respiratory system. So you really don't want to pull them out, as tempting as it may be, especially if they're dark or thick or long. But please trim them instead. It is truly better for your body, and you will not get sick as often or be exposed to those toxins as often if you do not pull them out. So all you're gonna do for trimming is take your scissors and trim anything that is visible outside of the nose. Don't stick it up there, don't go too deep. You just wanna trim the ones that are visible, because nobody is looking up your nose. But if you can look straight on and see them, or you can look straight on and see them in a magnifying mirror, which I strongly recommend for grooming. It is a really helpful tool. You can get one for very inexpensive online. But if you can see them looking at you head on, not like this, but head on, those are the ones you want to trim. So simply take your scissors or your nose trimming tool and trim them off. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is extract any blemishes that you have. Now, unfortunately, I can't do that on myself at the moment because I don't have any, but I am going to explain how to use this tool to do it. So this is a dual-ended tool that you can find at any beauty store, most drugstores, probably Target, definitely Amazon. So the one that I have, I believe I got at Marshall's a long time ago, and it's dual-ended. You can see this end is thicker and flatter, and then this end is thinner and a little bit more open. So depending on the type of blemish you have, whether it's a whitehead, a zit, a blackhead, things like that, is gonna depend on which end of this you use. And some kits will come with multiple sizes. Some are sharper, some are more gentle. So you kind of have to figure out what works best for your skin. But before you do this, a couple of things I wanna recommend. If you can start with a mask that will remove blackheads, I would strongly recommend that versus this. It's gonna be a lot harder to use this to get blackheads out. They're often super fine. So I would try to find like a peel off mask that's specifically for removing blackheads and use that before you move on to this step. That is part of grooming. Not everything uses a tool. So try to find a mask that will remove those if you have them. And then the other thing I want to encourage you to do, and this is really before you do any of this, but for sure before extractions, is that you steam your face. You can buy a face steamer if you want, but you can also just get a hot bowl of water and stick your face over it. And you can put like a towel kind of around your head so that the steam is all really getting into your face, but it's really gonna open your pores and make it a lot easier for you to extract those blemishes. Some blemishes are at the point where they need to be extracted by a dermatologist, by an esthetician, as a professional of some sort, but many of them you can do at home. So steam your face, remove your blackheads with a mask if possible, and then the blemishes that are left or the ones that are ready to pop, professionals will say not to pop them, but for those of you who are going to anyway, I'm gonna teach you how to do it. So you're gonna buy this tool, very inexpensive, and you are going to, wherever that blemish is, I'll use my scar as an example because it's a round spot that I can kind of explain it to you with. You're going to place this end of it over that blemish, and you're going to very gently push into your skin, which will put pressure on it, and then you're going to pull a little bit, and it's going to pull that kind of pussy white center off or out of the face. You're going to gently be pulling and extracting it. Because this end is a wider surface, it's going to apply pressure on a larger area of the zit. This end is a little bit different, so depending on the type of blemish that you have, you can even just try both and see what works. But you're gonna find the blemish, push this down onto it gently, not too hard, but you're gonna have to apply some pressure, but it's a lot less painful than popping it with your fingernails. So apply the pressure and slowly pull it to the side, and you should see the center just pull right through the center, and then you can clean it off. Please make sure you sterilize this between uses, soak it in alcohol, whatever, because you don't want any bacteria going into that area of your face. But you can go ahead and extract your blemishes, any ones that are ready to come out, using this tool. It's a great tool. It does a lot less damage than popping your zit. And then make sure that once you do that, you apply something to calm the skin down. So whether you do a mask, you put tea tree or lavender oil on it, things like that, that aren't going to cause bacteria, but that are just going to calm those areas of your face where you have blemishes. That's just going to help your skin to recover better. The last thing I want to mention is that after you do all of these steps, it's really important that you hydrate your face. Apply a heavy duty moisturizer, whichever one you prefer. But when you're doing all of these things, you're pulling out hair, you're extracting blemishes, you're trimming, you're kind of messing with your face. You really need to rehydrate. And then later that day, when your face has calmed down a bit, maybe before bed, do apply a toner because it's going to soak in really well, especially if you have opened those pores and done all of that. It's going to really even everything out, calm everything down, but then make sure you put a moisturizer on top. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really hope that you learned something or got a little brush up and are excited to do a little bit of grooming. Just remember that you are worth the time it takes to do this. You are absolutely gorgeous. Don't forget that. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd love to share more helpful tips with you. Make sure you tell me below which of these tips you already use or are going to use, or if you have other tips, please share them with the rest of this community. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything. Don't forget how beautiful you are inside and out. See you next time. Bye.